That's cool. I can't really hear myself. That's a good thing. But like, you guys can probably hear me quite well, in fact. That's awesome. Okay, hello. I'm Mickey from Team Prusa. We have lots of people here. We also will be joined by some guests, like Lindy. And the previous panel by Pooch was talking about doing cool stuff. So we were thinking we would just show some cool things that people do with our printers and how we were trying to enable them to let them do that. Guys, you just want to say hi before we hop into it?
Sure.
You guys have mics?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Anthony, otherwise known as Nomad, that's Galaxy. I'm the technical field and community specialist for printed solid at Prusa Research. And I've also been known as the lead of the Positron project, as well as the Prusa Wire and other crazy things I've done.
So I'm Tommy from Prusa Research. I work as the community manager there, and I'm the guy that's always posting on all the socials. So you'll see me all over Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. I'm way too much on those sites.
And I'm Alan Mandic really. Just a content creator, sponsored by Prusa, but yet they enable me to do cool stuff too. So,
can we get the next slide?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so people have always done crazy stuff with our printers, and we love to see that. Even here at SMRRF, it's awesome. Several of you, I see you, Alex, just nodding like crazy. You come to us and you ask us if we think it's a good. Yes, it's a great idea. Whatever crazy thing you want to do with our printers, it's a great idea. So we try to make this easier. So just recently we've released the full kit files for the Core 1 and Core 1L frames under a new license that we did. We felt like the software licenses were getting a bit sketchy for just we want to give you the stuff to play with it, but we also want to protect our IP from someone just copying and selling it. So we did the open community license and we released those frames, and then cool stuff it came from that, but also people were wanting the printer already. So this is some of it. And I think that ties it into Alan's project.
Yeah, so starting off we got Alan, and he did something super awesome. He created the Hive project, or the high efficient internal bulk eliminator. So please, Alan, tell us a bit more about it.
So the Hive was simply that I print a lot of ABS and XA materials, one of our most commonly used materials. And if you ever print that stinky stuff, not great for you. If you smell that stuff, it is bad. So I wanted to knock that down. Now, Prusa has an option for this. Their advanced filtration system mounts the back of the machine to the bed fans of Core 1, but that also then takes the air outside the chamber and dumps it out into the surrounding environment, which works to filter it, but it can reduce chamber temperature. It actually doesn't reduce it by that much. It's not that big of a deal, but it was enough to me that it's just not what I wanted. So when the Open Community license and the release of the Core 1 cab came around, it enabled me to dive in and really attack this problem the way I wanted to. Since day one of having the Core 1, I knew I wanted to design exactly this. What it is this entire side panel replacement for the left side panel of the machine, and you're looking at it, that fits within the same volume as the original. I love that the Core 1 has the kicked in side panels that reduce the internal volume of it.
You don't have to do it for
Well, no, it's part of the design conceit for why. If I'm going on too much, please do. Because I like that kicked in side panel design to reduce the internal chamber volume, I wanted to maintain that with the filter. There was already at least one other design out there. Somebody just took a flat panel, stuck a filter kind of in there, but you lost something. I wanted to maintain the look and the fit, and getting to refer to measurements with the new look design. It really let me take my idea and bring it to reality. So it filters through junky HEPA filters, draws air down through a 3-stage carbon filtration system, and then disperses air around the bottom of the chamber, thus circulating the air throughout the chamber regularly to even out temperature and scrub out those nasty chemicals and particles. as well as being printable in Core 1 was a big factor, and just
Like the whole side panel is completely 3D printed now, right?
well, it can be. So the picture there on the left side is the Core 1 version. So it's printable entirely on Core 1 for side panel pieces and for pieces for the actual hive body itself. Or if you have a bigger machine like Core 1L, which all my machines they use a Core 1L version, that you print in a single piece and use a steel side panel.
But you did this for yourself because you wanted it. But then people reached out afterwards and you made a video.
Yeah, I almost immediately struck a nerve with quite a few people who wanted to the same concept. They've seen the same thing that they wanted in their machines. So we're looking to offer kits. It's not finalized, nothing's completed in that realm yet, but this does have, 4020 server fans. I'm running like a buck converter step voltage down from the buddy board. And a few conceits that I'd like to improve upon. But it's totally buildable. There's a bunch of makes on printables already that I'm seeing, and people are filtering their air using the design. It's hard.
Yeah, it's an awesome project, so it's really cool. If you want to hang out with us, feel free, but also if you want to run at any point.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So, moving on. So, the next project we're showcasing, it's quite a popular one on the Prusa subreddit. So, one of the users there, Soup1337, he pitched the idea to me that he wants to do a Core 1 MIDI. Sounds fun, really basic idea. Also, like, he was ecstatic that he could use the RCL files. Like, it makes it really simple in terms of scaling it down. And this is an active project that he's working on. So if you do want to follow him along, he's also posting articles on printables showcasing what's going on there.
Sounds super easy. You were explaining the project to me that, yeah, it's awesome, guys. You just take the thing, I scale it down by some percent.
Yeah, like it seems simple at first, but like almost every step of the way, he runs into some new problem. First one was really simple, like where does the spool go now? Because we have the spools conveniently in the side panel and they fit nice and snug there. But once you scale it down, suddenly the spool doesn't fit anymore. So either he has to use some tiny 500 gram spools only now, or he has to use some special mount for it. So he's working on that. Another problem he ran into was the power supply and the electronics box at the back. So they both like fit there. There's even some space between them, but the moment you scale it downwards, then now these two parts are intersecting, and he also had to redesign that. So
before you click over, we wanted to do a rating for these projects, and we're gonna rate by noise in the room. So I'm gonna do 3 to 1, and you're gonna show if you think this is the latest thing ever or if it's awesome. I'm gonna do first one. I don't know. Are you warmed up? Are you ready? Yeah. So ready. So I'm gonna do 3 to 1 and make noise if you like this. 3, 2, 1. Woo! Lots of love for a tiny for one.
I have to admit that I've been doing crazy builds for a long time, and I wanted to make a one-to-one replica of the Core 1 in a scaled-down function with the buddy board, the extruder, everything, just using Prusa MIDI parts. But my free time isn't as great as it used to be. But when I saw this, I was absolutely head over heels because this is what I was going to do if I had the time to do it. So I'm really excited for this one.
So yeah, the user is posting everything. It will be completely open source as well. So if you want to do it yourself someday, you can just refer to his files. But take note, it's going to probably cost you way more than a Core 1. But yeah, that's why we're doing it. We're doing it for the fun of it. So
I think we have more cute small printers. Yeah.
So going on, we have our Japanese community has lately been going quite wild with what they've been designing. So the bottom left printer there, don't have too big a picture of it, but this is, I believe he calls it the MK 3.521. So it has quite a unique name, but he basically took two heat beds, stitched them together, and so he's got an extra long X-axis with this super long rods. I have no idea how that thing stays together, but he showed it to me on live stream. It was running and working in person, so the project seems to be going quite well.
I don't know if it's the orientation or the fact that the screen is still as if it wasn't double, but it just looks wrong to me.
It-
If I just imagine it's a bad thing or two and you're going back and forth.
I think my favorite part about when he showed it to us was that he had a zip tie in the middle of the gantry because it had no idea that it was elongated. I don't think we've had for hardware where it's like, wait, the axis is way longer than it's supposed to be. What's going on here? So this was certainly an exception.
We have it on the Z, but I don't think we have it on the X because
Yeah.
why would we have this check on the X?
So it is bizarre. I love it, and it is amazing.
So the next one is a Prusa XXS. So this is a super tiny XL. I'd like to call it a single tool changer. So yeah, he probably went as small as he could go. And like full inspiration of the XL. It even features the LED lights on the side. So it's as original as he could get it.
So let's see the fight between the weird double with Mark III and the XXS. So first, the Mark III that's twice as wide. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and now the XXS. 3, 2, 1.
I do admittedly love just the shrinkification of the XL.
I think that's a clear win, at least from where we are sitting for the
Yeah.
XXS.
I'm fairly sure the XXS is also one of the conceits is that is actually one of the bed tiles off an XL.
It looks
So
like
that's the build volume, and
Yeah.
that's why it's one of the many tiles that makes up the bed of the XL.
Yeah.
I'm quite curious now if it has to have the entire modular board controller just for that single file. So, going on, we have the silicone tool.
This actually, this started as a, we didn't know someone's working on it, but then Filament 2 reached out to us and they showed it to us, and now it's becoming a product that we will offer together with them. I think, again, several of you stopped by the group, pretty excited about this. And it's, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's very fascinating. It's a hollow tube. It looks like a filament, but it's in fact a hollow tube filled with liquid. And there's two of them for 2-part silicone, and it goes into the extruder. There's a mixing nozzle. It's an off-the-shelf mixing nozzle which you can buy, bag of 100 for a few pounds, dollars, euros, whatever you fancy. And it cuts the tubes. It pushes the silicone into the mixing nozzle. The two parts combine, they harden, and you can do real 3D printing instead of just like 2D. Because of the surface tension of the silicone, you can even do like overhangs. It's really strange to wrap your hand around it. And then, in the end, you have real silicone, high-temp silicone. So I think this will unlock some really cool things. Even the tool changer, like mixing it cool.
Like theoretically as well, like right now we're advertising it as the silicone tool head, but technically any 2-part material would be possible as material.
Anyway,
So like this is not specifically just this, like maybe in the future they could do some chocolate printing or something with it, but there's a lot of weird possibilities.
2-part epoxy.
I think the sex industry must be like looking at this tool head so hard. So hard. Okay.
You said it, not me.
We still need the height factor for this one.
Oh yeah, it's true. So what's the height factor for the silicone printing? 3, 2, 1.
Is it better than the XSS?
And this is another one. It's a similar story as the silicone toolhead, but we think this will just turn out to be a fully open source thing. It's done by the CHAW, Zurich University. They do a lot of really cool things, but they did this thing in place. So it has a vacuum nozzle and an electromagnet. Fun thing how they control them, they just stole the wire from the cooling fan because they don't need a cooling fan, and they trigger the cooling fan when they want to control one of those. And then you can use it to pick up, nuts and place it into your printed fakes. And then there's the vacuum nozzle for fakes which are not magnetic. I don't know if you've seen it in. I guess you've seen it.
Next, yeah, it was very exciting to see it in person as well as talk to the developer there, and it's like super interesting. Like I think this is like they were only showcasing some in-free nuts that they're inserting into the print, but it also leaves a lot of potential. For example, magnets into prints, like have the built-in magnets. I know a lot of people here with their projects, they were voicing some frustration to me where they're using a lot of magnets here, and like every time they have to pause, and that like takes downtime from the project, they have to insert them. But if this process can be automated, that just simplifies production even more.
Yep.
Do we get a hype check for this? 3, 2, 1. I would call it like even. We have just swing on toolhead. Oh yeah, Jan, you want to come run over here and say something about your crazy project structure?
I have to do a lot sort of thing.
So yeah, it started with a couple of years ago. I made an extruder that's based on that pushes the filament with small timing belts instead of gears, just to see if it actually works. And it sort of turned out that it was actually pretty good at printing with very flexible filaments. And the Prusa XL isn't particularly known for being that capable of printing flexibles, with all respect. And I think that there is an interesting use case there to mix different flexible filaments. So I decided to modify the Prusa XL and add my own tool to it, which was not an easy task. There's absolutely no extra room there. There's less than a millimeter space, but because it has to take up the tool and it moves to the side, and it is literally leaning against the pillars there. So it was an interesting challenge, and it was also challenging to make the how it's called the touch, the load cell work. So I repurposed the original hot end to turn that into a tool plate, and was hoping that the load cell functionality still works, which it did, but I didn't expect that. And I like that it's that it has 5 different colors, and I think that works well with the name. So it's nice to see it here. I didn't know it.
And we thought to surprise you a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming up. So let's hear the hype factor for this one.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
If the mail is Excel.
Yes, the people around Excel.
And we have the Prusa wire.
Ah, yes, my kiosk. So the Prusa wire was originally a crazy idea I came up with when I started at Print Solid, because we had one of the first few core ones that had been made. And when I first looked at it, I realized all the parts that came from the FK4 before we had the upgrade kit available to purchase. And I realized I have a very short period of time to design a printer that could use all those leftover parts. So for April Fool's last year, I released an initial design of the Prusa wire that was absolutely just chaotic and rushed out the door, and designed in under a month as a practice for the positron team. And then we had a few other volunteers come in and help us bring it to full fruition. In fact, the one thing I'm very proud to say is that we're going to actually be releasing the first full release, so out of beta, I think the next few weeks here. But the whole idea was take the frame of an MK4 and subsequently found out about the MK3 and upgrade that to a switch wire using just leftover parts lying around. We figured most people would have a lot of these parts just kind of scattered about, a bunch of motors. You just need to buy a bed and controller board, but the Raspberry Pi MK3 Rambo board, it's able to do some crazy stuff, and since it uses a stealth burner, you can put whatever toolhead you want, which I think we have in the next slide here. So if someone's put an amp head onto the Prusa wire, and it's just been a very fun challenge taking something designed by the Moron team and slapping it onto the Prusa frame. Because I know one of the things we initially were going to only have a backseat height of 150 millimeters, and people were not happy with that. But we were just kind of doing it for fun. We weren't doing it for serious, so we had to push the toolhead out way further than normal in order to clear the belts at the top. And as a result, we also had to push the bed forward. So we had to extend the whole frame. But now you get the full build height of a MK3, MK4 with the 4-on tool bed. It's been a wild ride. I'm really proud of the team for having come as far as they have with this project.
But with some of our talks as well, you were mentioning you have some like even further plans for this. Like you even speculated you might do a bit slinger index.
So I'm just one of those individuals that comes up with crazy ideas and throws stuff out of the wall, see what sticks. So now that I have essentially a Core XC MK4 that is now fully functional, it is well within the ability to tilt this at a 45-degree angle and replace the bed with belts, making it a belt printer that I could feasibly put index on.
Which if you keep replacing parts, you will do for full circle and you will end up with those leftover parts and you will have to design a new printer around the leftover parts.
It has certainly been just a fun Ouroboros because we started with the positron itself using some Prusa mini parts to experiment with that, and just having this access to some of the stock that I have is just it's enabling me too much, and we should probably stop that. But you know what? It's fun.
You think it's fine?
Height meter for the Prusa wire. 3, 2, 1. I would say very close second after Yot's progress. Thank you.
I'm honored.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, like there's always something.
Oh yeah.
So we will now showcase several of the creations that all of the community has been working on. So kind of like the community is what helps make us who we are. So we just want to show off some of the work that they're doing. So Voxel 3D has been designing an in-box system as it's like this very efficient storage solution for the printers based on the designs of the Core 1. So it kind of keeps everything kind of like nicely in place. He's planning to add filament dryers to it as well. So just a very convenient system for home usage. So he's even like expanding it not just Core 1, but XL and all the other variations. And with customization in mind, that's kind of like a core theme at Prusa, that we want you to customize the printer. We want you to be have it as your own unique piece of technology. And if you want to make it like more suited to your needs, there is this possibility to do it. So we not only do we like try to make this possible, but we actively encourage it. That's always great for us to see.
If you post something on Reddit, you can be sure that in 10 minutes be in our internal Slack channel and we will be giggling about it. And we are bullying our developers like, see, we told you it's possible.
I've been having way too much fun bullying.
So going on, this is all the height factor.
Hi, 3 bucks. 3, 2, 1.
Personally, I do love how this just is absolute workshop vibes. It reminds me of like going to Home Depot, we see the giant tool cases, but specifically for 3D printers.
Yeah.
I do love that.
So going on, the oldie but a goldie, I had to add a mini to this slide. So this is one of my favorite modifications for the Prusa Mini. So the Bulbasaur modifier for it. So like I think we even have about 3 or 4 of these around the offices, and this is for me just such a cool, simple modification. It's kind of like just a reskin of the printer, but like making it like if it's for kids or you're just a Pokemon fanatic or something, you can always just fit it into like whatever like system you want, like the style of your home. So that's, I wonder if anyone here might have even done it with their minis.
I'm not sure that counts, but okay. Okay, height down meter for the Pokemon Bulbasaur printer. 3, 2, 1.
So further shout outs for the community. So they were quite helpful, like adding some extra prints. One of the users added he created a new spool extension for the spool holder of the Core 1. And this features a scale for measuring the weight of the filament that you have remaining. So also always extremely useful. So
I have this on one of the printers in the office. So it's quite useful to have it if you have several printers on one of them, and you can always update for the others.
yeah. So is this something you guys would want to try, use? Indie night?
Maybe if you
I'm artificially going to use
So continuing on, just showing a bit of what some users have made. So with the MMU especially, you can sometimes have some space issues with it. It takes a bit of space inside. And I quite like the look of this creation of this user. It kind of gives me...
You like the look of this?
I like this. Like, this is crazy chaos style. So I can't decide if it's like some, like it gives me some slight signature oak feel, but 100 times more chaotic. No, there's some good in there.
I appreciate work with what you got.
Yeah, it's like script like one follow.
But I think what this really does show is that, there are 100 different ways to achieve the same results. And the creativity of the Prusa community essentially knows no bounds. And the fact of the matter is the MMU is a phenomenal example of that, where the buffer is a open slate for someone to go, this is just where filament is stored while parking it. It can be any shape, any size. I've seen one where it's a square. I forget the name of it. It's the slot. It's the slot buffer, and that thing is awesome because it has no parts, and the filament goes right through, but has the buffer to go into it.
Some make rolling buffer, gravity buffer, all sorts of buffers.
I know for my Core 1 MMU, I really just had an air gap where it kind of just went into the air as a temporary solution. But it really is just the flexibility of the whole platform.
Do we still have something more? Can we just wait a few them? I think we have all that much time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So just beautifying the MK3, customizing into your table workshop, moving the display, add some LED lights, and you can always create it as you need it. And then of course the fish, it's important.
I want to do a high meter for the fish. 3, 2, 1.
A magnetic fish.
And the left side of the Core 1 is a good example where there was this empty space, and I think within the first month of the creation, I don't even know how many modifications there were at that point for it. Just to fit your steel sheets in there, fit your nozzles in there, general drawers, place to store your fish.
I see multi-board add-ons.
And not to skip the whole time here on the table, we have a spool of filament, which I'm sure many of you realized is not a spool of filament. This is Matt Denton's project, which you worked with Matt to make this crazy RC thing. You want to run around into?
Yeah, this is if you haven't seen this yet, it's just a real treat, and it's also on printables, and it's an open project, open source. So Matt's got all this stuff from GitHub, and it's just fun. It's just fun, and I like it's got a discrete controller to it where he picked everything perfectly. So they can just. If you haven't seen Anthony chasing it around, it fell off the printer, and then it was, oh my gosh, we love you. He's a little balance button. He's based on the DO droid. If you haven't seen that for the droid builders out there, it's based on that little counterbalance. Nice. And he rips well.
I think we're pretty much out of time, but we can do 1 or 2 questions. Someone has a quick one.
Yeah, any questions? For the team? Yeah.
You probably hear this a lot, and I bet you'll get a lot of positive in the community, but is someone starting off this bit of people as any plans to kind of bridge that gap between yourselves and because obviously other companies have gone for start to fill the gap that you've, think the price gap is, and you do like rental or cheaper printers.
Generally we try them to on these Q&A announce new unannounced products, but if you look at our lineup, we have the Mini, Accord, Arc4, Excel. Purple is actually quite, and the L now is quite wide, and for each of them we are always thinking about the next upgrade. So I'm gonna leave it at that, honestly.
More questions? All right. Should we wrap here then? All right. How about a hand for Prusa? Thank you for bringing that out. Honestly.